Hello, it's Sarah again. I had bought a new microphone. Well, actually, yeah, before I was just using the one on my laptop, but then I had remembered that I have an actual microphone. I've had the I've had a microphone this whole time, and I just didn't take it out of the package for some reason. I was like, okay. I plugged it into my laptop, and you know, I'm holding it in my hand like a professional, right? So I wanted to get on the topic of the very stinky topic of psyops again. Tarl likes to make videos about psyops and uh, veteran wars of the mind and such, which is a shame because I actually liked Blue Oyster Cult. Um, don't you hate when there's somebody who you don't like and then they reference songs and they ruin those songs for you? Such a shame, right? Yeah, let's just stop talking about myself. This is about Tarl and his stinky video about psyops. And I had watched this video a couple times before, but what I would like to reiterate is that oftentimes you'll see criminals or people who commit crimes often will tell on themselves. Very clear that is some indication that this video was him, in my opinion, confessing his tactics, his his methodologies, and what he calls the psychic wars. Gosh, too. The first video was already used in one of my other videos before, so I'm not going to revisit that. We'll just start here.
All right, everyone. It's time for PsyOps Part 2. Link in the description. Just a uh,
I don't like the way he says "too." Does that bother anybody else? But like that, "too," like I don't like that. I don't know what it is. Where is he getting that from? He had never started doing that until recently, I think. Until like the before a month of him getting his tooth knocked out. To
nonsensical YouTube video there. A little bit of music for you. You should definitely listen to it, though, because it's really, really great. I wanted to talk a little bit more about psychological operations. It's something that some people didn't really fully understand with my first video on the topic. Let me explain something. There are three kinds of PSYOP training. The
nobody believed you because when you talk like this, you sound like you're insane. And also, maybe your audience would like to trust you. Maybe they would like to just listen to your topics and not feel like they're being deceived or manipulated in some way. Why would you need to make this video? What is your whole purpose in making this video, Tarl? Tell us about that.
first is government sponsored. It is sponsored by a government in order to craft a person and make them into a lethal vessel. They can crack somebody's mind like a goddamn scrambled egg. Well, an egg that becomes scrambled anyway. And
And you'll hear him say that. Um, you'll hear him say that often. You'll hear him say that he can crack people's minds like an egg. How does that not indicate some form of uh, mental abuse, in my opinion?
no further questions. There are adjutants. Those are people that are learning secondhand from those that have been trained in psyops. Now, they have their own takes on it. This is the point of psyops. We'll get into that too. And then number three, people that are self-trained. They understand psychological operations because they themselves have looked into them. I am all three. Just to be clear, Yes, I have been classically trained in psychological operations. I have been secondarily further trained by other people in psychological operations. Again, we'll get into that. Third, I am all
which he never got into that, by the way. He has never talked about where he's gotten his training from, his alleged self-proclaimed knowledge in psyops. He's never talked about that. You cannot just come out there and say, "I whatever." I'm not going to even repeat what he's saying. It's absolutely insane, but you cannot make a video and tell people that you are trained by the government, self-taught, and all these crazy things. Like nobody does that. Like why is he doing this? That's my biggest question is why would he sit here and say this? Like how does he benefit off of it?
also self-taught. I've looked into it myself. The adjutant part is probably the most interesting. You got to understand there are all sorts of groups and individuals out there that understand psychological operations, some of them classically trained, some of them self-taught, and they become this weird third group, as it were. I would use the term third column, but that has its own connotations. Linguistics is of great import.
Yes, and he repeats that phrase again. Linguini linguistics are of great import. He keeps saying that. Uh, he likes to repeat catchphrases to have them cement into someone's mind. That's what he does. That's one of his tactics. In my opinion, I think the most efficient way to be influential is to be less obvious in what you're doing, right? People are smarter than he thinks they are. But of course, he's never ventured out into the real world to know that people, like the average person in this American society, especially where he's at in Vermont, Vermont is actually a decently educated area. Yeah, it has a quite a weird population of strange fellows, but the school system out there compared to the rest of the country is pretty high. And I would say people there are pretty well educated compared to the rest of this country. And, you know, this nation is not full of, not everybody's dumb. People are smarter than what he's aware of, but he doesn't know that he doesn't know because he hasn't had a real job before. He's not lived on his actual own before. He's moved into other people's places where they are at. Meanwhile, I had left home when I was 18 years old and for the most part kept, you know, kept my own place for the majority of my time. I'm 32 years old. And yeah, so I don't like how people will speak from experience when they don't have it. So where is he getting his experience from? Is it from the women he's encountered? Is it from television? The fact that he's so isolated and he claims to know so much should raise suspicion.
In psychological operations, just to be clear. You need to understand the world around you and the determination
Yes, understand the world around you by actually being a part of the world.
of how to label the things that you're seeing, describe them, and so forth. Linguistics is of extreme importance.
You keep talking about that once again, keep repeating the same phrases over and over again.
That's why I'm very, very glad that I studied linguistic anthropology back in the day.
And you dropped out of college.
Ultimately, that was probably the most valuable fucking course that I ever took in the history of my time at UVM, honestly. Because and this this didn't even involve a PhD professor, by the way. He was just an associate professor, but he did a great job. I hope he's still there. I wish him well because it was invaluable. Because of this, I was able to determine reality more for myself, for example. And
So he determined reality from taking a class instead of actually enjoying or experiencing the real world. That's very concerning. You can't experience life by going to class. Maybe through the networking aspect of it, but you're not going to even understand the skills you're learning until you see them for yourself, until you experience them for yourself. For example, I'm learning tech right now, and a lot of what I'm learning will will make even more sense when I'm out there having to be this little tech support person or whatever I decide to do, right? I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I know everything about um, cyber or tech in general, data science, if I hadn't actually put in the groundwork to be a part of it, past learning about it.
so forth. The reality is that psychological operations are a real thing. But when you tell people that you're involved in psychological operations, the goal is that they will not believe you. The goal is that they won't believe that you're actually involved in it at all. You can say, hey, I work for psyops. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, yeah, good one. Good joke. If you can manage to achieve that, if you can get to that level, that's exactly what you want. You want to be able to literally flaunt it, and nobody will believe a goddamn thing that you're saying. This is a problem for the average person. They don't want to believe that the person that they're talking to, some weirdo on the internet, like, look at me. I dress like a fucking pirate. I'm gothed out. I'm fucking retarded. They don't want to believe that I'm actually psyops. They don't want to believe.
It's so creepy when he looks over his glasses like that. He's got like this glazed over, like shark-eyed stare. It's really creepy. Like there's nothing to his eyes at all. Just black, beady, crazy, psychopathic blankness. I didn't mean to insult sharks like that. But yeah, he's just a creepy dude. Like what you'd see in some type of like documentary about some crazy person who did some crazy stuff, and I don't even want to say it. I don't want to say how I think everything could end. I do not want to say it.
They don't want to believe that I'm doing everything that I can to defend my country. But
No, you're not. You're not doing whatever you can to defend your country. You're doing everything out of self-interest to benefit you for that day, for that moment, for that week. Your very day to day. That's how you operate. Very clear. If you actually cared about your country and cared about people, you would want to be responsible, to be able to have the self-preservation to carry on longer, to reach more people. You're not going to disintegrate yourself, deteriorate yourself, and say that you care. Like, no, if you do care, you're going to take better care of yourself. But as you're going to see in his other videos, he doesn't care about his own vessel of a body. He views it as a car, as a vehicle, as an inanimate object without spirit, without a soul, apparently. Or no, he does believe in souls, but he thinks that there's like this thing where he's just going to keep waking up in a different body. That's paying no respect to your current vessel. You're being that reckless with it. Just fine to believe in reincarnation, but if you do have that belief, wouldn't you want to make everything better? Wouldn't you want to make everything you do count for the greater good?
But it doesn't matter to them because they don't believe it at all. And so they can't stop you. That's the whole point. Psyops is the art of deception. It's like Sun Tzu. When you are weak, appear strong. When you are strong, appear weak. It,
So is that what you're doing right now? Or are you method acting? Which one? Part of me thinks he's method acting. That's what I think. Part of me thinks that. I mean, he's making enough money to get by, but he's evading the law by hiding somewhere. Um, he's hiding from the law. I don't think he's doing that to appear strong.
it's very simplistic. I mean, this was quantified more than 1,000 goddamn years ago. What you need to do is get to the point where you're intelligent enough so that you can literally flaunt it. I can wave it in my enemy's face and say, look, I'm a psychological operations expert, a linguistics expert. I um I can literally cripple your mind. I can fry it like a goddamn egg.
Yeah, because every normal, good person says that to someone, right? He's using it as a weapon, saying that he can basically destroy a person's mind. Yeah, that's exactly what a good person says. There's no narcissistic, manipulative tendencies there. No, I'm sure he's just a nice fella, likes to pick daisies and look after grandma. I don't know what help grandma cross the street. No, no, no. This guy, in my opinion, he has all the dark triad characteristics, and that's another topic I would like to get into later. Is the dark triad. Um, he's like, if you were to study the serial killers and psychopaths throughout history, he's got the face of several of them combined. And it's crazy.
But they won't believe it. They want to think that you're full of shit. And this is what the average person doesn't understand. The average person believes that anyone claiming such a grandiose thing is full of shit. After all, why would the person who has such qualifications, what the fuck would they be talking about it on the internet?
How does it benefit you to have people believe that you're full of shit right now? How does that benefit you? He doesn't think far ahead. He's very compulsive. He just thinks about getting out of the next the first thing he's in. He thinks about getting out of that. But he doesn't think about long term.
Ah, that's where you're wrong, my son. My son, let me explain. To flaunt it on the internet is to test people more than anything else. It's hysterical, actually. I mean, it's also a form of amusement, so, But when you tell them these things, they won't believe you. They won't believe it at all. They'll think that you're full of shit. They'll think you've lost your mind or something like that. I mean, I did lose my mind many years ago. That's also part of psyops, appearing crazy. If you appear crazy, people tend more to leave you a fucking alone.
Is that what you're doing right now? It's not working. It's not working at all. If anything, people are starting to cover you more because people feel like they've been tricked by you. So a lot of people find it morally okay to cover you because they're using you as an example of what not to be. So whatever you're doing, working against you.
This is another element of psyops. It's another element of psychological operations. Oh man, we could go down this rabbit hole for hours. If you appear as though you've lost it,
Oh yeah. Speaking of rabbit holes, this guy claims to be the year of the dragon. No, he's the year of the rabbit. So that dragon he has on his Ouroboros hat and all that. No, he's a rabbit. He's something that gets swallowed by snakes, which is like snakes and rabbits are both cool, but I'm just saying. Stay true to your sign. You're gonna have pride in your Chinese New Year sign. Represent it accurately. Like I'm the year of the rooster, right? Like I don't want to say I'm a cock. There's other cool signs. I mean, I don't think being a rooster is that cool. It'd be nice to be a dragon or a snake. That'd be very cool. But no, I'm a rooster. I'm just a cocky cock.
you're basically, you're somebody in the alley that's huddling there and mummering to themselves. People are more likely to pass you by. I'm not going to listen to you. You could be completely with it. Absolutely. Highly intelligent, 150 IQ or something like that, and be plotting a terroristic attack or some shit. They will ignore you. Or you could be trying to defend your nation as I do, and people will think
Okay, if you are defending your nation, how are you doing it? Can you name 3 ways you are defending your nation beyond self gratification? Everything he does that he's trying to pretend is defending the nation is just his grift to reward himself. I'm so sick of people doing crazy, terrible things because they're pretending like they're looking out for the greater good when they're actually doing a lot. They're doing a lot of everything bad.
you are insane. People think you're nuts. They'll think, oh man, Styx has lost it. Good. I hope that you believe that. I hope you think I've lost my mind. Then I'll have succeeded. It turns out that it actually works very, very well. I hadn't tested it out before. Before I had, generally speaking, just been on the cuff. And so I did, the dry, boring political commentary and stuff like that. And, food videos and gardening and stuff like that. That's more hobby than anything else. And people thought I was innocuous, right? It was really, really funny. Meanwhile, all this time, I've been predating upon the system. I've been a predator towards the system because it is a sick system. In defense of my nation, I will do anything. I will gladly take a bullet. There's no problem with that either. But that will not be necessary. I've already cracked enough eggs, so to speak, and I don't.
Okay, what do you mean by that? Is he referring to the woman he's dated about make he feels like he's made them crazy when in reality he's taken people he's lured in people while they were in vulnerable states of being, right? Whether it was environmental or a bad mental state they were in. He's brought them across state borders, had them move in with him, um, kicked them to the curb, uh, let left some of them there just to be floating around. Apparently, he's bringing a whole different populace of female to Vermont, which is very strange to just lure people in across borders and dump them there. That's fucked up. Like, yeah, the fact that the situation didn't blow up in his face until recently is very surprising. Almost like they were trying to protect him or something. Well, you don't help the victims by protecting the perpetrator, is what I'm telling you. You don't.
Like omelets. God damn omelets. Fucking suck dick. Have you ever tried making an omelet? Can somebody please tell me how to make a goddamn omelet? This is something that I've never understood. I can understand how to destroy a person's mind in a few sentences, but I can't make a goddamn omelet. I don't know what's wrong with me, but there's definitely something wrong with me. I'm not exactly a mentally normal person. You may have noticed this if you've watched my channel for more than a single day. But anyway, as far as psyops goes, it's very, very simple. You simply need to, and corporations do this all the time, usually for malevolent purposes, control a person's linguistic capacity. That is, you make up slogans and things like that, like Patriot Act or whatever. It really doesn't matter. Make up slogans.
What he's talking about is soft propaganda. That's what he's talking about. But he's not naming it because I don't know if he's aware of what it's called.
Control their language, control what they can and cannot say. That's very, very important. Authoritarian governments do it all the time. Look at North Korea. Now look up free speech in North Korea. See what you find on their internet. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of search results. There's a reason for this. You control how they think by what they can say and what they cannot say. Part of it is gestural, by the way. Part of communication is entirely by gesture. North Korea is a great example. When you go to North Korea, what do you see? Traffic ladies waving flags in different directions.
It's so creepy the way he moves. I don't like how he's using an example of an area of the world that almost nobody goes to. He said, when you go to North Korea. First of all, who's going to North Korea right now? It's all business trips and political stuff and who knows what. Use an example of what most people can relate to.
And shit like that, and telling you where to go and so forth. This is a form of mind control, effectively. It is a form of, effectively, as Scott Adams would probably call it is a form of mental hallucination. It is a form of hypnotism more than anything else. People just go, with the flow. They don't want to go against the flow. Why would you want to do that? You want to go to your job and shit like that. It's very, very interesting when you think about it. It's quite funny. But in the end, it is true. Psychological operations are real. We do exist. Some of us fight for good, some of us fight for liberty, but there are those that don't. There are people out there that effectively they utilize that knowledge to sell a product. That's like corporatists.
Why is it always the people who say they're fighting for good that are doing the exact opposite? You don't need to say you're fighting for good if you truly are. It's going to be evident in the results you're getting and the impact you've made. Some food for thought.
Basically. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Making a profit, who gives a shit? Then there are those that are far more malevolent. They try to start wars. They try to enforce authoritarianism. You have to be wary of these people.
Yeah, let's talk about those mimetic wars you're doing. It's clear that you're doing your own type of psyop war. What he does, he takes political figures in popular media, he takes them and uses them as examples of people he knows in real life, and he slanders the shit out of those people. So a couple years ago, he was slandering Kamala Harris, and he was saying that she had a drinking problem or something. And now look what's happened to him. So clearly, it's not it's him. Like it's backfiring on him. He's combining spirituality with psyop stuff, and it's just very weird to me. There's a saying where you're not supposed to mix spirituality with politics or witchcraft with politics, and that's for good reason.
They do exist, I can assure you. I've talked to them. I've spoken with them before. I chose to turn the cannons, so to speak. This is not a joke. This is real. I chose to turn the cannon.
You didn't turn the cannon, dude. You crawled inside the cannon. Now you're being blasted off into oblivion.
And it seems that several of them are rather pissed at me. Oh, how sad. Well, I'm more intelligent than you, so you can fuck yourselves. This is real. This is literally a psychic war. That's why I titled the video such. That's why I've got the Blue Oyster Cult song in there. Yes, there is literally a psychic war.
The only thing you've accomplished by uh, using Blue Oyster Cult for your sloppy stuff is like now I don't like that band anymore. That's the only thing you've accomplished. So good job, I guess.
It is not fake. It is absolutely real. It's not paranoia, although another psyop. Labeling people as mentally ill. This was done in East Germany. It's very funny. People will acknowledge that this happened in East Germany, but they will not acknowledge that it happens today. Isn't that very interesting? So yeah, those Tommies in the Eastern Bloc, they used to fuck with people's minds, but nobody in the West ever did that. Nobody in the West was ever involved in psychological operations. We're just retards. We're too retarded to develop psychological operations at all. Then they'll proclaim, and it's really, really funny. If you proclaim these things and acknowledge them, they'll say that you're on some sort of substance. Oh man, he's on crack or some shit. You know, there's something wrong with him. You do not need to be drunk or high to understand that psychological operations are a very, very real thing. It's officially a part of the US military.
I feel like he's slurring his words a little bit. Like he's definitely been drinking something a little bit, but he's not completely fucked up in it. But he's definitely fucked up, but for a different reason. But um, as far as his soberness in this video goes, he is mostly sober in my opinion. He's probably had at least like one drink, so he's feeling a little bit buzzed, and he has a low body weight, maybe around 130, 140, at about 6'1", 6'2" of a height. So, and he doesn't eat that much. So that whatever he drinks is just gonna hit him right, right on his ass.
It's literally part of the US Army, especially, although it branches out into other services. And there's a reason for this because it works. There's no reason to stop doing so. If you're fighting for your country, of course, fucking up the minds of 100,000 people is going to be a lot more efficient than coming in with a field gun and killing a couple of people. Yeah, I mean that's great. All right, you're Rambo. You go commando mode and you killed 5 people. Great. I can crush a lot more than 5 people and have simply by making a YouTube video. I have done it before. I will do it again in defense of my nation, of course. Uh, some people are more efficient at this than others, and sometimes it doesn't quite make sense. Some people they attempt this, and uh,
Yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about how many things you've tried to cast on other people that end up being true about yourself. How many of your own issues you've projected onto political figures, or maybe even interpersonal relationships, and it's all been true about you instead. But he doesn't think like this. He just thinks about, he wants to, in my opinion, he wants to silence individuals that have revealed him. But then he comes out and makes videos like this, basically telling everyone, like airing out his dirty laundry. He doesn't make any sense. Crazy, in my opinion.
Just saying. I'm seeing it literally right now. I'm watching it in real time. It's quite sad to me, actually, because some of the people that are attempting to engage in psychological operations are humiliating themselves, actually, at the moment. It's not something that I like to see. He doesn't care about
What he thinks is humiliation is probably an act of somebody standing up against him. He treats, in my opinion, he treats his partners like they're children that don't know any better, because he finds them when they're in a weaker state of being, and he keeps them there to control them. And the only way he's ever going to have a functional existence with another person is if some reason that person is too mentally incapable of fighting back. And he may have found himself in that position right now. The only way he's ever going to have in my opinion, a peaceful environment where there's no conflict is if he's in an area where the person doesn't have the capability to question him, or he just stays by himself. If he was just fucked up and kept to himself, it'd be a whole different story. Some people know they're too fucked up to be with people, so they just stick to themselves and make the best of it. But no, he drags people into his mess. He's dragged the internet into his mess. Apparently, he's pulling the wool over people's eyes and psychologically operating stuff, whatever the fuck that means. You just can't trust him.
My only fault is actually giving a damn. My fault is giving a damn. Other people's fault, generally speaking, is not giving a damn. They don't care about their country. They don't care about their friends. They don't care about anything. Most of the time, they don't even care about themselves. That's their problem, not mine.
The best way to care about your country is to be the best version of yourself, to give to yourself, to be the better person that you can be, to be the best you can be, to contribute. That's what caring about your country is. It's not hiding in some dingy room all day, uh, making fun of people for clout, or just literally. I'm not even really convinced that he's convinced on his own topics anymore. I think he's literally willing to say whatever it takes to get whatever exchange of money handed to him. That's my opinion.
Mine. I'm going to go drink something that's strawberry flavored because strawberry is excellent. That's about all.
You're not saying it. I did not let you say peace out. I did not want to hear that. Um, let's see. Yeah, so that's my video with my new microphone. Pretty lengthy of a video, but I really wanted to test out this equipment and have like an unedited video where I just have like a stream of consciousness reaction towards a deranged individual who is talking about a very strange topic. So I hope everyone enjoyed. Um, I'll make another video probably the next week or so. We'll see. All right. Bye.